Hi, and welcome to Study English with Sarah. I'm Sarah, and this week's article is a strange one. Two goldfish in a small tank, a court case, and a ruling that could change the way we think about animal rights forever. In this lesson, you're going to read a fascinating and surprising true story, practice IELTS true, false, not given questions, and pick up some really useful vocabulary words. If you have an IELTS exam coming up, or you just want to improve your English, this lesson is for you. Let's get started. Here's what we're going to cover today. First, you'll read a fascinating article about a landmark case involving two goldfish and what it could mean for animal rights. Then you'll practice true, false, not given questions. After that, we'll go through some new vocabulary words. And finally, you'll repeat those words for pronunciation practice. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a lesson. Before we start, a little personal note from me. When I first saw this story, I thought it was a joke. A court case about two goldfish? But the more I read, the more I found it genuinely fascinating. I had no idea that goldfish have memories lasting several months, or that they can use tools and solve problems. I always assumed they were one of the most basic pets you could have. I do wonder though, if we start giving rights to goldfish, where do we stop? Insects? Plants? It is a rabbit hole that's hard to get out of. I think this article will give you a lot to think about and a lot to talk about in an IELTS exam. Now let's read the article. I'll read each paragraph aloud. Feel free to pause the video and read along at your own pace. A court has ruled that a restaurant owner violated animal welfare laws by keeping two goldfish in a small display tank in a case that animal rights advocates are calling a landmark moment for the legal protection of fish. The owner was fined after animal welfare inspectors determined that the tank was too small to meet the fish's basic needs. Under the law, social animals must be kept with at least one other companion, and fish tanks must be large enough to allow natural behavior. Goldfish are social creatures, and contrary to popular belief, have been shown to have memories lasting several months rather than just a few seconds. The case has reignited debate about whether fish deserve the same legal protections as other animals. Traditionally, animal welfare laws have focused on mammals and birds, with fish often excluded from the same level of consideration. However, a growing body of scientific research suggests that fish are capable of experiencing pain, stress, and fear. Some studies have even found evidence of tool use and problem-solving behavior in certain fish species, challenging long-held assumptions about their intelligence and emotional capacity. Animal rights organizations have welcomed the ruling as a significant step forward. They argue that if fish are sentient beings capable of suffering, they should be afforded legal protection regardless of how different they are from humans. Critics, however, warn that extending rights to fish could have wide-reaching consequences for industries such as fishing and fish farming, which rely on the large-scale capture and keeping of fish. They question whether the same standards can realistically be applied across such different contexts. This is not the first time courts have been asked to consider the rights of animals. In recent years, legal cases have been brought on behalf of elephants, chimpanzees, and even a river, with courts in various countries asked to recognize non-human entities as having legal rights or standing. Whether the Goldfish case leads to broader legislative change remains to be seen. But for animal rights advocates, the very fact that a court took the welfare of two goldfish seriously enough to issue a ruling represents a meaningful shift in how societies are beginning to think about their relationship with other living creatures. Now it's time to test your understanding. You can see 6 statements on the screen. Decide if each one is true, false, or not given based on the article. Remember, true means the statement agrees with the article. False means it disagrees or contradicts the article. Not given means the information is simply not mentioned. Watch out for these ones. They're the trickiest. Pause the video now and answer the questions. How did you do? The not given questions are particularly tricky. Head to my Substack to check all your answers. The link is on the screen and in the description below. I'd love to have you over there. Now let's look at some new vocabulary from the article. Listen and repeat each word after me. Violate. Violate. To break a rule, law, or agreement. Listen to it in a sentence. The court ruled that the restaurant owner violated animal welfare laws. Violate. Landmark. Landmark. Important and significant, especially as the first of its kind. Listen to it in a sentence. Animal rights advocates are calling the case a landmark moment for the legal protection of fish. Landmark. Contrary to. Contrary to. In opposition to what is expected or believed. Listen to it in a sentence. Contrary to popular belief, goldfish have memories lasting several months, not just seconds. Contrary to. Sentient. Sentient. Able to experience feelings and sensations. Listen to it in a sentence. If fish are sentient beings capable of suffering, they should be afforded legal protection. Sentient. Afford. Afford. To give or provide something, especially a right or opportunity. Listen to it in a sentence. Fish should be afforded legal protection, regardless of how different they are from humans. afford, consequences, consequences, the results or effects of an action or decision. Listen to it in a sentence. Extending rights to fish could have wide-reaching consequences for the fishing industry. Consequences. Legislative. Legislative. Relating to laws or the process of making laws. Listen to it in a sentence. Whether the Goldfish case leads to broader legislative change remains to be seen. Legislative. Standing. Standing. The legal right to bring a case to court. Listen to it in a sentence. Courts have been asked to recognize non-human entities as having legal rights or standing. Standing. That's it for today. So what do you think? Do goldfish really deserve legal rights? I would love to know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this lesson, please like and subscribe so you never miss the new lesson each week. Share it with a friend so you can learn together. You can find the full lesson, answer explanations, and audio practice over at studyenglishwithsarah.substack.com. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. The links are on the screen. I'll see you next week. Bye.